How did ancient humans survive predators? You were not the strongest animal on the savannah. You had no claws, no fangs, no armor of thick hide or fur to turn away a bite. Somewhere out there, in the tall grass, something was almost always watching you. And it was faster than you, stronger than you, built by millions of years of evolution to do exactly one thing better than anything else alive: kill things like you. So how are you even here? For most of human history, you weren't the predator in the story. You were the prey. And that single fact, buried under everything we've built since, the cities, the language, the art, might be the most important thing that ever happened to your species. For decades, the story we told about early humans was a flattering one. Man the hunter, spear in hand, dominating the food chain through sheer cunning and courage. But in 2005, anthropologists Donna Hart and Robert Sussman published research that quietly demolished that myth. They gathered fossil evidence from early hominin sites across Africa, bones punctured by teeth, skulls cracked in patterns that matched big cat bite marks exactly, leopards, hyenas, ancient saber-toothed cats. Your ancestors weren't just occasionally threatened by predators. They argued that predation was one of the single greatest evolutionary pressures shaping the early human body and brain. Think about what that actually means. Every trait that makes you human today might be, in some way, a scar from an ancient chase. Start with the body itself. Why do humans stand upright, on two legs, when almost every other successful mammal on the savannah runs on four? Bipedalism is slower than a sprint on all fours, and it exposes soft, vulnerable organs right where a predator's claws would want them. It seems like a terrible design for survival. Unless height was never really about speed at all. Standing tall let your ancestors see over the grass. It let them spot a lion's ears twitching 50 meters away, long before it got close enough to matter. Slower legs, but sharper warning. That's not weakness. That's an early trade. Trading raw speed for something far more valuable: time. And time is exactly what a small, soft-bodied primate needed, because you were never going to win a fight. You needed to win the moments before the fight even started. This is where something remarkable happened, something you still carry with you every single day. Fear became social. A single set of eyes scanning the horizon misses things. 20 sets of eyes miss almost nothing. Anthropologist Sarah Hurdy has spent decades studying how early human groups depended on cooperative vigilance and shared caregiving to survive, not just against predators, but as a whole strategy for staying alive in a dangerous world. A mother couldn't watch her child and the horizon at the same time, so she didn't have to. The group did it for her. Alarm calls, shared watch duty, the instinct to look up the instant someone nearby gasps or freezes. That reflex wasn't built for boardrooms or busy streets. It was built in grasslands, where a heartbeat of shared attention was the difference between a lineage that continued and one that ended right there. But vigilance alone doesn't explain everything. Because your ancestors didn't just watch for predators, eventually they started using them. Here's the counterintuitive twist most people never hear. Danger didn't just shrink human populations. In some cases, it may have pushed human innovation forward at a faster pace than safety ever could. Archaeologist Curtis Moran has spent years excavating caves at Pinnacle Point on the South African coast, and what he found reshapes the whole narrative. As Ice Age conditions turned much of Africa's interior brutal and predator-dense, early humans didn't just retreat and wait it out. Some pushed toward the coastline, toward tidal pools crawling with shellfish that land predators mostly ignored. New environment, new threats, new tools needed to survive them. Moran's excavations turned up some of the earliest evidence of humans using pigment and crafting specialized blades. Innovation born, quite literally, from being squeezed by danger into unfamiliar, difficult terrain. Pressure didn't just threaten early humans. In the right conditions, it sharpened them. And it sharpened something else too. Something less visible than tools or bones. Something you still feel in your chest right now if you think about it long enough. Fire. Controlled fire didn't just cook food and warm bodies through cold nights. It was a wall no predator on the savannah wanted to cross. For the first time, sleep itself became different. Instead of half-alert rest with one ear tuned to the dark, groups huddled around flame could actually let their guard down, together, at the same time. That kind of collective, deep rest changes a brain. It gives it room to consolidate memory, to dream, to recover in ways that constant vigilance never allowed. Isn't it strange to think that something as ordinary as a good night's sleep might trace back to the first fire that finally kept the lions away? None of this ever really left you, even now, tucked safely behind walls, doors, streetlights, and locks. Your heart still slams when a shadow moves wrong in your peripheral vision. Your whole body still tenses at a sudden noise in the dark before your conscious mind even catches up. That isn't anxiety malfunctioning. That's a survival system, inherited from ancestors who lived and died by exactly that split-second reaction, still running quietly in the background of your very modern, very safe life. You check that a door is locked. You glance over your shoulder on an empty street at night. You feel a flicker of unease in an unfamiliar dark room, even when you know, logically, that nothing is there. That flicker isn't irrational. It's ancient. It's a system built over millions of years by creatures who survived precisely because they didn't ignore it. You were never the strongest animal on the savannah, but you're still here. And that, it turns out, was never an accident.